Well, hi, and welcome to my shop here on, oh my gosh, September 1st. Wow. September 1st, and the weather has changed outside dramatically. So it's as if we went from summer to fall overnight. Much cooler outside now. Okay, so yesterday I started up the signal generator you see here and applied it to this FM receiver. And I managed to get a fairly good trace on my scope, which was great. I didn't pursue it very much further than that. So today we're going to go another step. What I'm hoping to do is include a 10.7 marker pip on my frequency on my scope, so I can tell exactly where the center of the FM IF tuning range should be. I guess I can put it that way. And we're going to experiment one step further then with the signal generator here. By the way, I took a moment this morning and counted the number of signal generators I have in my shop. It's 5. 5 signal generators. And the interesting thing is, they're all a little different. And they all have a slightly different role to play, or a somewhat different role to play. So anyway, surely to goodness I can find a signal among these guys. So this signal generator produces a sweep with a marker in it. The 2 separate oscillators here. The marker oscillator only goes down to 19 kilohertz, which is kind of disappointing in a way, because I need something at 10.7. So to achieve that, I have turned on this signal generator and set it to, well, 10.7 almost exactly up here. The output from this signal generator is being fed into an input on this one, designed exactly for this purpose. So you can have an external marker generator producing the pip while this guy is producing the sweep. And so it's exactly the right way to use this. So let's flip on this guy. See if I can get a little bit more of an interesting view of things here for you. It's getting a little crowded on the bench. So the main thing is going to be on the scope here. Let me flip this to XY. So the X, hey, where's my hand? There's too many cameras going. The X is being driven by the signal generator. And so this is actually 60 cycles going back and forth. If I could tip this like this, it would be a circle. So on the Y display, we will have, what will we have? Okay, let me just plug this in here. So we're also going to be using the SDR radio. Oh, I wanted to demonstrate something. You know what? Maybe you can just look right at the SDR screen here on my computer, rather than stick it right on your screen. So this is the SDR running at 100 megahertz with no antenna connection. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. But now I'm simply going to plug, this is just a wire in my shop. Basically, where'd you go? Basically, this is just a wire in the shop. It's not actually connected to anything. So, an antenna. Here we go. I'm just going to put it on. This is the input for my SDR radio, and we're going to watch what happens here. A nice, fairly clean display. I put this on. Holy smokes! Where'd all that come from? And I did this before I had anything turned on in my shop. It looked just like that again. Wow! Somewhere in here I have to sort out the FM signals that are coming from the work I'm doing. Wow! Look at all that stuff. I think we should try 1 or 2 things here. I'm going to turn off the marker amp. See what happens. Oh! You see that? Now that's interesting. All I got to do is just touch this, and you can see what is being generated by the generator. Yeah, what am I doing? The generator I'm using is microphonic, so it's doing this. That's all I'm doing. Well, that's a pretty quick and easy way to figure out what is generator and what is not. Okay, I don't know much what to say about this. So here's the generator frequency. And now, because I have it on the SDR, we can read the frequency quite accurately. It's right next to a million. Let me expand the sweep a bit here. It didn't appear. Why did it not appear? Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about that right at the moment. The next thing is the output. Yeah, on the scope. Let's switch to the scope now. Stop paying attention to that. That's kind of a backup thing I can look at periodically, but really it's the oscilloscope that we're mainly interested in. So the oscilloscope is picking a signal up from this small detector circuit that I built according to the instructions of the receiver's alignment instructions. So that's what we're looking at on here, on the scope here, but there's nothing, of course, because I haven't even turned on the radio yet. Okay, so we think there's 10.7 coming, oops, 10.7 coming out of here, going into here, and out of here is coming 100 megahertz swept, although I didn't see the sweep, and along with the 10 point, in my case, 10.695. Let's see what we can get on the scope now. Okay, so I'll turn on the radio. There's really clearly a hum with this radio. I have to keep telling myself that so I don't forget to try to fix it at some point. Okay, keeping an eye on the scope. It's a transistor radio. Should come on like that. So, what has happened here? What has happened here? So, you know, there was one thing I changed. I changed the way I grounded. The camera here, it's only half a view. So I had a temporary ground clip, and I've made it a permanent grounding. Did it not ground it? Did it not work? Let me just double check. I can't imagine how it didn't work. Okay, now we're watching the scope, or watching the SDR rather. And so I'm just banging this. That's what's happening here. No, that's not making any difference. Oh, I got so many things. Like a lot of balls being juggled all at once here. It's kind of difficult. Avoid dropping them. Okay, we'll assume this is working. How can we assume that? We can't assume that. Turn off the marker so you can see that one signal disappeared from the SDR. All that's left now is the sweep. Let me adjust it and just see if the sweep appears to have left us again. Expand the sweep. The sweep itself is very, very wide, so you can get this frequency anywhere near your target and you're going to see something. There's nothing whatsoever. I have another failure of this guy. How come? Okay, I got to stop and troubleshoot my signal generator again. One of the balls just fell on the floor. Okay, that should do it. I had made permanent a temporary ground wire, and of course I did it wrong. So now I've done it right. I think we're gonna have success here. Turn this way around like that. Very good. Okay, on you go. Let's see what happens now. Where should we be looking? Looking at the SDR radio. And what should we see? Something. Okay, so I mean, okay, that's good. Kind of knocked my camera way off here. So what we're hearing is the sound of the sweep going through the through this radio. In fact, on the scope. Scope, there is the outline of the response curve. Oh, thumbs up. Okay, now I'm going to try to get a pip to show up in there. First, I'm going to try to make the size of the display here bigger. Make it. Let's see if we can do that. Wow. Oh, wrong control. There we are. Okay, now, can I move it towards the center? I think we'll change the frequency would do that. Let's see. Center of the display. So, you know, I really think that is the IF response curve from this radio. One of the unique features of this sweep generator, considering its vintage, is that it's passing the signal. I don't know how to do this right. The sweep is going back and forth. It's 60 cycles, and the sweep never turns off, so you always see it up on the scope. In this kind of generator over here, which uses the same sweep technique, 60 cycles, there's an out and a back. So if it's describing a shape, it'll describe it on the way out, and it'll describe it again on the way back. The problem is there's little phase shifts and things like that happen. So on the way back, it won't paint exactly the same shape. It'll paint a slightly different shape. Which one is which? Who knows? What this guy's done is he's eliminated the back. So it's going through the signal, painting the picture on the scope, and then on the way back it just goes straight across the back. It's really impressive to me. It does this by actually switching off the oscillator during the return cycle. So there's no output from the oscillator, and then turning it back on, the tube back on for the other part of the wave. If somebody had told me you could do this, I would think you can't even do that. I mean, the oscillator sits idle for half of its cycle and then snaps back to life. I don't know. It seems a little bit of a mystery to me, but it sure does work. And that's a big advantage of this signal generator over this one. Fantastic. Beautifully stable too. The whole time we're talking, there's nothing happening to it. Okay, let's see if we can bring in the 10.7 and get it to appear. First I have to turn on the marker amp, and it may appear right away. So I notice the wave shape jumped. Let me turn it off again. Not exactly sure why that is. It seems like the sweep width maybe changed ever so slightly for some reason. This oscillator is running now, but we don't really want it in the picture. But if we did put it in the picture, what do we get? Yuck. Here's what we get. So you can see the marker, but it's not a sharp pip point. It's a weird thing. It really looks like the ideal. The pip mark looks like the ideal wave shape in a television IF. There's no television IF here. So that's the internal one, and there's probably more than one. If I just go like this, you'll probably see a bunch of them come along. There's an weird things there. Whoa, look at that. So explaining this stuff, can't do it yet. You can see things going by on the SDR too. No idea what all that is. Okay, so this is right on the dial, right around 108 or so. It doesn't appear to be on the screen at all. So I wanted to get this out of the picture, but I have to leave the marker amp on while I do this. Now I gotta move the camera here a little bit. So I'm gonna adjust the signal generator in the back there. That says right now it says 10.694. See if we can't make that show up. First, I better connect it. I haven't even connected it. Yes, I have. So it would normally be connected to this connector, but I've actually clipped it in behind the connector. So I don't have the correct connector. So. Okay, so the output is very low. Let's go up a little bit. Okay, so output is still very low, and modulation off. and we'll vary this frequency a little bit and see what shows up on the scope. Anybody home? Nobody. Well, a little bit of movement there, but a little more. You have to guess that that wave shape is right on top of 10.7 to start with. So nothing there yet. Okay, so there are some level controls. There's this one. Turn this way up. So marker amplifier is running full tilt. We'll look for it again. Does anybody see anything coming on here? Nothing at all. Go down a little lower. Nope. Nope. Okay, we're going to boot up the output here. 10 times stronger. Anybody home? Oh! Did I see something there? No. Nothing happened. Okay, full tilt. This is it. Isn't it? Taint no more. Full tilt here. 10.8. What am I doing way up there? So it moved a bit there. Yeah, right in there. But that's not the idea. So either I'm using the instrument wrong, I've got insufficient supply from the generator here, the way I've connected it is faulty, the input doesn't work, the frequency is way far from 10.7 on the scope. All these things are possible. Which one is it? Yeah. Just thinking hard here. So, external marker. And I'm connected. Am I connected to it? Sure am. Right on it. This cable's good. This is maximum. This isn't. Go a little higher, but I mean, you know, unless it's a factor of 10, I can't imagine it making any difference here. I'm stuck as to what to try next. Well, I could take the output of this, and instead of sending it through the marker amplifier, just send it straight to the radio. And you know, another thing, there's probably a 10.7 trap in this radio, and I'm trying to feed the 10.7 in as a separate signal. It just may not make it to and through the IF at all at this rate. So there is another whole element to this guy, and maybe it's time to explore this now, where he can produce pips, far sharper and much more useful pips, utilizing an extra circuit that somebody added onto this. And the fact that it involves this tube here and some circuitry just underneath here. I made an attempt at it the other day, but I just threw it together. Didn't really pay much attention. Didn't seem to function, but that's just how it seemed. The output from the additional marker comes out of here, and this should go to the Y input. And I'm short for cables and all kinds of stuff here. So I'm going to stop for a bit and figure out how to wire this guy up. Right. I've been messing around here like crazy, and I cannot get the 10.7 marker to show up. But one of the things I just noticed, oh, I'll unnotice it right away. I thought I hadn't grounded this, but yeah, I've got a clip leader doing the grounding for it. It's not even grounded. It's not really grounded. It's attached to the FM input, FM antenna input. Yeah, so far not working out. Look at the weird stuff I've got up there though. A couple things. This output attenuator, which is very powerful, times 1, times 100, times 10K. That's really not times, it's actually going down in signal strength. But watch what happens when I turn it. I mean, it just goes a little wee bit and never disappears. That's 10,000. That's 1/10,000th. Oh, is it really? Doesn't look like it. And the fine attenuator should be able to knock the sweep right down to 0. Well, that doesn't. It's still there. A few problems with the output control here, and I don't understand why that would be the case. Is this thing really connected in here? I'm using cords here. I've never proved them out. That's just reflecting the case here. A little bit of changes. Oh my gosh. I also noticed this is not set anywhere near 100 now. According to the scale, 100 is up around here. So what happens if we move it up around 100? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was a lot of stuff. Well, let's go back again, because there was one that came up on the SDR. Only one of them came up on the SDR, that one. Shrink the sweep down a bit here. Does it look more like a single frequency then? Try to bring this in. So on the SDR, 100 is actually over here. I'm going to move 100 to the middle of the screen. Actually, it's where the red line is now. For some reason, we're heading for 100. Wow. Okay. This is more where I think 100 is from my past experience. The 100 number is written right there, but 100 seems to be here, and this is the supposedly center of the sweep. Wow. Okay. Well, still learning how to use this instrument. So let's go back and forth here a little bit and just watch the SDR and see if, in fact, there isn't another sweep somewhere. Oh my gosh, look at this, look at the scope. And you can hear this happening, of course. Oh my gosh. Well, it looks really nice. I really like that. That looks fantastic. Is it the real one? Now all is quiet. Okay, sweep to nothing. Well, but it still has a bit of sweep left in it. Oh, I'll be able to align this radio for sure. I mean, I got every opportunity. I can align it almost anywhere I want. Holy smokes. Yeah. Okay, so the one I think is the real one. Why would I think that's the real one? Because of what's happening on the SDR. Let me watch the SDR now. Just, I don't have much sweep on. I think we're at 100 here. Oh my gosh. Changing the fine attenuator, it's changing more than just the level. Well, you see, there's limits here. I mean, there's limits in this machine. There's limits in here too, and if I'm driving a signal out of here that's beyond the limits of this guy, then I get all kinds of weird stuff that doesn't mean anything because you're operating the radio in a condition it'll never experience in real life. So I don't know what's coming out of here. I got this at ×1, I got this at a half. Well, I do know, according to the manual, it's part of a volt here all the time, often only a quarter volt coming out of this guy. Quarter volt to an antenna, well, that's quite a bit, actually. That's a pretty good antenna signal. So, okay, a little more of this here. No, I think I'm on. But look at the display on the scope, it's useless. Wow, a lot of challenges here. Why so many things coming out of this signal generator? Marker is off. Now the marker's off. Does that make any difference? Oh, it did. I think it did. I think it made a difference. Like, clearly it does. So we introduce another signal, Again, as it passes through devices, tubes, even resistors, I understand, although I don't quite understand that. The two frequencies will mix and you get products. And then you get lots of weird stuff. So how am I going to land on... Well, if I brought another radio in here, which I will, I do, I'll bring another radio in, and we'll see if that radio picks up all this stuff too, or if it only picks up one spot. And what do I do with my little radio? Oh, I think it's somewhere near my coffee cup, so coffee break time here. Coffee cup was empty, so I'm back in here right away. Okay, we're tuned on this radio to 100 megahertz. Let me just turn down the other radio. Okay, it is turned down. So now that's only in one spot. So now, I think again it's in roughly the same place here. What does the SDR tell us? Mr. SDR, so all kinds of stuff there. Okay, I'm going to expand the sweep. Maybe we can figure things out if I just expand the sweep here. Look at that. That's much better. Okay, let me just bring it in a little bit. So so that is sweeping now from 99.5 to 100.5. Okay, we know what it's doing. And what's it sound like on the radio? I have to turn the volume way up to hear this. Of course, that's the problem with this radio, is it has no FM volume. Now I've left an extension lead on here. I'm going to take it off. It's a bit of an antenna. This was an experiment. Oh, you saw what I was doing, didn't you? Didn't I? Okay, my friend, where are you here? And which one of you am I calling my friend? All of you guys are my friends here. Extending my human abilities. Supposed to, anyway. Okay, let's once again see if we can get a pip to show up, and we can even look on the SDR for this. I have the output of this big old signal generator going into the marker input here. Marker is... Hello everybody. What happened there? So the marker amp, is it something? Hoo-ha! I didn't really watch anything when I did that. How come we have no display on the scope? Tune the radio. Hot diggity dog. Okay, volume down. I haven't tuned the radio yet. Yes, another. Maybe that was a big part of it, or maybe that's the easiest way to get things lined up here. Sweep width going up. Very musical. Display looks really like a response curve. Am I ever going to trust this guy? Okay, internal marker generator. Something is there. We'll move this. Son of a gun. So this puts all kinds of marks in there. Wow! Yeah, I'll be able to align this radio with ease. Okay, so some of this is coming because of the crystal, I think. I'll pull the crystal out. Because the crystal generates a frequency, the marker amp generates a frequency, and together they produce products, and lots of, so we'll get rid of a bunch of stuff here. Okay, there's still lots of stuff in there. Of course, I'm feeding this other signal in. Let's get rid of that signal. Okay, we'll do it like this. Ooh, I was feeding a high level signal in. We won't do it like that. We'll do it like this. Okay, so I've disconnected the marker signal. So now we're in really good shape here. So I think. Nice looking shape on the scope. Internal markers. Let's use the internal marker here and see what happens. Two or three of them there. Not like it was. Looking at the dial setting, if I wanted the marker to be at, for some reason, 100, where we are tuning, it would be right around this area. Ooh, that must be something quite important. I will guess what we're doing here is we're matching the marker frequency and the signal generator frequency. Ooh, this is signal generator frequency. That's right, I disconnected that guy. Well, I don't think this marker is gonna do the trick for me. Not right now. Not the way it's operating. Look at that. Oh, we should look at the SDR. So I've expanded the sweep so much that it's sweeping right through the entire range shown on the SDR. So you can't see the square edges at the bopping sweep. It's going way off. So what? So I'll move this through and see what we see there. Now look at that. There's a beautiful pip there. That's fantastic. Is there anything on the SDR? No. Here comes some more pips. And then the whole thing rolls up. How did they get so tight? They weren't tight before like that. Look at that. Well, you could do this. You could use this if you knew the frequency of the pip. And the way this guy helps you with that is it has a crystal. The crystal frequency is right on the money all the time. So use the crystal frequency to calibrate this. That's kind of the idea. But in today's world, we have frequency counters and other things. But look at the shape of it still. It still is weird. So this might be some kind of ABC thing happening here. I'm not sure why that goes like that. Well, it's more pippable. Let's put the other signal generator through. Okay, so I'll move this one off so it's not putting a pip on, and we'll go back to trying to pound one in with this guy. Okay. I gotta move around here a little bit. Let me go up. Get a higher level view of things. Okay. So output is high, connected. Output is high and connected. Right on 10.7 right now. Show me a pip. I don't see anything at all. Nothing. So this external method's not working unless there's something about it I don't understand. There's some switch or something. I'm not operating. Certainly have the input, even though I'm not using this connector. I've got it connected correctly. Maximum output. It's really maxed out here. 10.65, 10.7. Just looking for any jump. Definitely have it connected. Really hunting for my mistake here. Don't actually see one. So I think I'm going to stop and read up on the marker generator, external input and things like that. Maybe there's something I'm overlooking about it. But we really need a 10.7 pip or really can't do a decent alignment job here. Now, there might be a 10.7 that comes out of my other signal generator over here. I might be able to get a 10.7 out of here. Not sure about that. Let's stick with one thing though. stick with this arrangement here. Okay, gotta read the manual a little bit and see what I can find out. Uh-oh, something very bad has happened here while I've been out of the shop reading up. Left all my equipment operating here. Actually brought in a little... Hello, camera. Hey, what's going on? What's happening here? What's happened? Well, it's very odd. So I'm waving my hand in front of the camera. You're not seeing it, but you can see it moving in the scope. What has happened here in my video stuff? Yikes. Everything's breaking down. Okay, but now I got everything working again. Okay, but that's not the terrible thing. The terrible thing, shame on me. See my meter right over? See that meter right over hard? I'm going to turn off the signal generator. I burned that meter out. That's what's happened here. Oh! No, I haven't. Must be the output. Oh, thank God it's still working. Oh, boy. Look at it. It must be reading the output from here, which is being fed back into there. Unintentionally, but it is. Let me turn this down and see what happens. Okay, so the meter is still dropping very, very slowly here. Let me turn it back up. Still dropping. What happened? Let me turn this off. So this might be, so I've got this amp off. This is off. This is off, and that meter should be 0. Let me disconnect it here. What is happening? Oh my gosh. Well, maybe I've done something to this meter. I don't know. But I think I've reached the end of the road here today. because let me turn my scope off too so I don't have a dot on it. That's enough. I think that's enough. It's a fantastic day outside. The sun is shining. And I think I got enough stuff here in my head to ponder why things aren't working out quite the way I would expect. I have the feeling it has to do with trying to shove 10.7 into an FM antenna. It's really not a very, probably not an effective way of doing this. So, well, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll pound away at it again tomorrow. See ya.